Burgundy and Gold Daily. We talk it every day. A little bit of news involving those Redskins right now. Off-season work is going on. J.I. Halsell, he's writing for FootballOutsiders.com. He was a salary cap expert, worked for the Skins, and now he's advising on stuff like that. Al Koken is back with us. And J.I., you wrote for an interesting article on FootballOutsiders.com recently on some things the Capitals, the Wizards, the Redskins have done with Albert Haynesworth and DeAngelo Hall financially. It looming for if 2011, if we get another salary cap. Of course, we're under an uncapped year right now. What did they do? How does it impact both players?
What the Redskins did with both the contracts of Albert Haynesworth and DeAngelo Hall was basically renegotiated. They had option bonuses for significant amounts of money this year. Haynesworth, $21 million option bonus. DeAngelo Hall, $15 million option bonus. And they converted it to signing bonus, which is a pretty standard practice in the NFL with contracts, just because a lot of teams like to convert that into signing bonus because, one, it gives them the protection of forfeiture in the event that this player defaults on a contract. But the Redskins, the interesting thing that they did with these contracts were that they included voidable provisions in both contracts, meaning in the case of Albert Haynesworth, he gets $21 million, this year in 2010. However, he can pay back $16.8 million after the 2010 season and become an unrestricted free agent.
Not doing that.
Now, theoretically, I mean, if he really doesn't like the 3-4 defense and he still plays decently well this year, he could give back, say, $16.8 million if he agrees in principle with another team that's going to guarantee him $17 million to get it back. Now, what are the chances of that happening? Probably right now slim to none. But from a salary cap accounting perspective, the good thing about this is that because that voidable provision was in there, that signing bonus counts entirely in 2010. So which is uncapped. Which is uncapped. So now Albert Haynesworth's, his cap number or team salary number went from a little under $9 million in 2010 to $25 million in 2010. But since there's no cap, there's nothing really, it's not hampering you any. And DeAngelo Hall, his salary cap number increased by like $12 million. And what it does, Al, is Bruce Allen here giving himself a little flexibility because 2011, we don't know what's going to happen. We may not have football. Right. If we have football, we could be under a cap. It could be lower than what we have right now. It could be higher, so you're not marrying yourself to two monstrous contracts necessarily, or as much.
Well, it also seems, and Jack could address this as well, that it seems like there are a lot of teams that are approaching this uncapped year very conservatively. We thought it would be, 5 or 6 of the richest teams would go insane, and it's been just the opposite. Dallas hasn't made much noise. I don't think they've Obviously, done anything. The Redskins haven't made much noise. New England, all those teams that you expect to have the money to spend haven't, so I think they're all anticipating a cap coming back in some way, shape, or form when football comes back. But I'm intrigued, J.I., does this also give the Redskins the advantage in 2011 to say adios to these two guys if they want to without a lot of penalty? I know that it sounds like these guys have the ability to walk from the Redskins if they want to pay it back, but does this give the Redskins flexibility not to be hamstrung the way they are with, contracts like Clinton Portis, et cetera, et cetera?
That's a great question because what this does is typically you'd have, let's use Haynesworth as an example, that $21 million would be prorated over the life of the contract. Now, because that full $21 million stays in 2010, even if he doesn't void that contract in 2011 and they decide to terminate his contract, you don't have as much money, dead money, coming into conceivably a salary cap in 2011. So it's a brilliant move from a strategic perspective on the Redskins' part. And then it's kind of a win-win because Albert Haynesworth theoretically could gain his unrestricted free agency if he really wanted to.
Interesting stuff. You can read that yourself. FootballOutsiders.com. FootballOutsiders.com. J.I. Halsell breaking it down. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Formerly a salary cap expert that worked with the Redskins. Now he's doing some stuff with FootballOutsiders.com. Definitely check that out. We start with, are you guys big fan of Dancing with the Stars?
Not a huge fan.
Not quite.
How about, Chad Ochocinco was going to be entertaining. Right. Chad Johnson. Chad Ochocinco was on there last night with some video of that. I thought he did pretty well. I was able to check this out a little earlier. I didn't watch it last night, but he's a ham. Is that TL? Yeah, that's TL there. I thought he did pretty well. Solid job.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody better suited for the show than Chad Johnson. I think he should be on every single season, every year. It
was almost inevitable he was going to find his way on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's his MO. He's the ultimate, self-promoter, in the NFL.
You only get to play so long, Chad. Milk it. Milk it, baby.
How did Erin Andrews do?
Pretty well.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I'm impressed that you even knew she was on the show.
Well, I saw her at the game a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about it to other people. She trains like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So. She did a solid job. I think our own Kelly Johnson would have done a better job personally, but that's just me. Virginia Tech beats UConn in the NIT last night. I was watching this game, and I was thinking to myself, you know, 2 months ago in the regular season, this would have been a heck of a matchup. At the time, Virginia Tech was off the hot start. UConn's UConn. It was a good basketball game. Lorenzo Hudson's guard with 27 points. Virginia Tech gets a good win in the NIT. No shame in that.
Yeah, not a bad game. The teams aren't bad. There's a lot of star power on the court. And next year, both teams will be in the NCAA tournament because it'll be about 300 teams.
Yeah, do you think teams like this would mean more? Obviously, if you're in the tournament, but do you think, is it mean more to Virginia Tech or a UConn? Because for UConn, they're still bummed that they're not in the tournament, right? You're UConn.
Yeah, you're UConn, to your point. I mean, whereas you're Virginia Tech, that's pretty significant for your program,
yeah.
you know.
Go win it.
Yeah.
Is Greenberg going to stay, or does St. John's make a run at him?
I think he does stay at Virginia Tech. They could have a good team next year. Paul Hewitt's a name I heard most recently for St. John's, and that would make sense.
Now, you know this at the Preakness every year. The infield in the past, is a drunken scrum. I was a part of it once. There's really nothing like it.
Just once?
They took the rule away that, it was a once is all you needed. You couldn't bring the cans of beer in and the coolers. Last year, plummeted attendance by 30,000. Next year, 16 out comes the beer that you can refill all you want.
Nice family atmosphere.
Family atmosphere.
Yeah, bring the kids along.
It's fun. Just